Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever you are listening to us from. Welcome to Footprints, a podcast by the Mopane Leadership Program of CivSource Africa. Footprints is a podcast that tells stories of our elders and gleans their wisdom so that we will be wise, you people. And today our guest is none other than Maurice Ogenga Latigo, and he is going to take us through the journey of his very many years on this earth. Professor, you're welcome. What would you say marked your time? How long were you a member of parliament? And what are you most proud of?
I think my biggest prize is that I served this country with all my heart. Nobody can blame me for anything.
Yeah.
I cannot complain for anything. Because if it needed to be said, I said it.
So, Prof, everybody will say, I served but when you say it, what do you mean? Give us examples of this. This is what I did in service of my country.
FDC as a party, we are the ones who formed it. But before, when we went to parliament.
And for those who don't know FDC, that's the Forum
for Democratic
Change. Yes.
When I went to parliament, entered parliament in 2001, my basic root party was DP. And we had DP caucus with the Dongotos, Cassiano Wadri, Balikudembe, quite a number of Baganda. And we formed the DP caucus. What made me eventually leave was there was that fight that took place between the Semogerere group and the Buenje group in the 2001 elections when Buenje stood. And we did everything to bring DP together. I chaired a reconciliation meeting which would all with the Robert Kitariko, now mayor of Kampala.
Yes, Elias
Lukwago.
Yes.
Would all that meeting Christ the King would chair. And I think I could see things quickly. When things were difficult, I'll just say, let's go and take a rest at Speak Hotel. And then you buy drinks. Kitariko like to drink, many others like to drink. And when they're drinking, they start talking to each other. And me, I'll just note what occasionally I throw in things to allow them to exchange. And then the next day I said, yesterday when we were having a drink, this came up and these were the positions. And we worked out an agreement. I talked to Paul Semogerere. Some of the people, the Bihanu Lubega, etc., they did not want. So they preempted with a meeting at Sharing Hall in Zambia. One day, Zachary Olum calls me and said, Latigo, where are you? I said, we're in meeting in Sharing Hall. I said, what meeting? He said, these people have decided to reconcile. I knew they were avoiding signing the agreements. I told Zachary Olum, I said, from today I've left DP.
Yeah. So you helped found
Forum for Democratic. We had a PAF.
Oh yes, Parliamentary
Advocacy Forum.
Yes, I remember the Salam
Yes, Adolf Mweside, Ben
Honourable Robert Mao,
Rosindana, all of us were in that thing.
Yes. Oh, that's powerful.
So from powerful, then we started talking about forming with Reform Agenda. The Reagans. Yes.
There was Reform Agenda before FDC.
Yes, and then Chapa Karwangas, and we from DP, the Ben Washers from UPC. Then we sat down, and that's how we formed FDC. We formed FDC. There was a place behind Steel and Tube. There was a place you go up where there was a kind of a hall. I keep now forgetting. So we're in those meetings, and then that's how DP and all these other parties came together and FDC emerged. And then I was elected deputy president for the North. We were actually 3 deputy presidents. It was me, Sam Joba, and Salam Musumba. And because Dr. Besigye, whom we had elected party president, was in South Africa, we made Salam Musumba acting party president. And our first national executive council we held in Stellenbosch in South Africa. Yes. We did the Dr. Muninis, all of those. Yeah. And then we got Besigye back. We moved all over the country. I literally, there are branches like in Karamoja, nobody could go. It was me, Udong Auto, and Dr. Epetite. We are the ones who opened branches in Karamoja. I applied everything into making sure that FDC was a party that the country could look to. Be on radio, TV, Kimeza until it was banned. Yeah, that kind of thing. So, and then I came to Parliament for the second time, now under FDC, and I got elected the leader of the opposition. By the way, I'm the only leader of opposition. I must blow my trumpet.
Yes.
Who occupied that seat having been elected. The law actually says leader of opposition should be elected. And that shielded me also. To remove me became very difficult.
They're elected, supposed to be elected, not appointed.
No, not appointed. Yes. So I got elected.
And this was what year?
206.
206.
Yes. And I remember me and Sam Juba were the 2 deputy presidents. Sam Juba was the candidate for the side of Dr. Besigye. And I even remember I sent him SMS. I said, Sam, me and you, we cannot fight over this position. Let's sit down. But they were so sure of their winning and they wanted some that they did not negotiate. So when I was elected, actually the Uganda group, you see now Minister Sebugwao, that the entire Uganda caucus boycotted Parliament, the party headquarters for 3 months until we put the matter down. And I said, me, I'm not interested in this. I was elected to serve. If you want, first work out a good reason to explain to the country why you are replacing me with Sam Juba. And I will leave the position. They said, no, that's not. I said, then why are we wasting our time being bitter with ourselves? And we calm things down. But 208, you remember, people will remember Dr. Besigye talked about renewing leadership in FDC. He resigned. I knew I was targeted. Initially, I said, I don't have to resign because the constitution is very clear. But later I said, okay, I'll resign. And then they put Reagan Nkumu against me. Mapenduzi was the campaign agent. And I didn't want things that would create conflict in the party. So I said, how can I effectively neutralize this? And I said, fine. When the Kasubi tombs burned, I was there. I was probably the only non-Muganda who was received by and taken to, they call her Nalinya or somebody.
Mm-hmm.
The king.
Yes,
Yes. Yes. And that is how strong Buganda felt about me. So the day we were preparing the Namboli for the delegates conference, where people were sure now Latigo would be knocked out. In the afternoon, I told Salam, I said, I'm going somewhere with Bale. Banika Bale was chair of Uganda FDC caucus. You guys finished the preparation. So, put him in my car, a leader of opposition car. We drove to town. We drove Entebbe Road, Katwe, and waited for Bulange. We reached the gate, the askari seeing my car, salute, they open. We go in front of Bulange. 3 guys in councils and suits waiting for me. They greet me. And then they take me to the office of the Katikiro. And me and Bale. And the Katikiro said, well, the cabinet is waiting. We'll go and meet them. When Bale got out and called people and said, don't touch this man, he's Kabaka's man. Mm-hmm. The day of the elections, the guys were accosting me. I remember Jackson said, you Latigo, you're not campaigning. I said, why should I campaign? You know me. If you think I don't qualify, you don't vote me. It's okay. Then they started counting results from Central. Mpigi Latigo 140 something, Reagan 3. Masaka Latigo 200 something, Reagan 7. These guys didn't know what happened. That day I felt a little sympathy for KB. I think I could see even tears of defeat in his eyes. But for me, the important thing was not to hurt anybody, but do what I can do as a politician. But in the house, everybody knew I was straight. In fact, I was told later, we walked out about PRA and the storming of those guys. They called them what? With the T-shirt, they stormed the court.
Yes, the black
man, something like that.
Yes.
Then we walked out. We visited the prisoners in Luzera with rallies. We went to the Human Rights Commission. I remember a lady who became a judge later. She was very hostile to us. And I said, no, you're a commissioner. Your job is to listen to us. It's not to exercise hostility towards us. When we went to the courts, I wrote to court seeking appointment. And they wrote back, said, you can come. And then they said, but you don't come with the journalists. I said, journalists are not members of parliament. When they come to make stories about us and you. And in that place, you are the one in charge. So don't ask me.
Yes.
So we go and we prepare the statement. It was Justice Ugwala, who was the principal judge, who received us. He looks at the statement, and the statement was so much in favor of the judicial process. He said, let's call the media before we start. And then they called the media. And we addressed them. Mm-hmm. So from the political perspective, I never got too much involved in these demonstrations and things like that. I would demonstrate, but people sometimes forget I'm a professor. Like I told Mama Mbabazi one day, no, not Mama Mbabazi, Professor Kidu, who was Attorney General.
Yes.
He was arguing something, and the legal thing. No, but I was in my office, but monitoring. I could see the house was not even understanding anything, and I thought I could help, so I rushed down. And I also tried to explain, and everybody was lost. And I turned to Kidu and I said, Mr. Attorney General, I also tried to explain. But don't worry. We professors, they don't understand us sometimes. If you met Dora Biamukama, up to now, because to me, they don't understand us. So in Parliament, we did what was right for the country. The deployment in Somalia, our party was absolutely opposed. Kiyonga was the first minister. He came to me and said, Latigo, why are you not supporting us? I said, how do I support you when you don't brief? The law requires you people to brief me, but you think as opposition, you ministers are too big. How do I help you? They brought all the IGAD protocol on deployment in Somalia. There were already formal signed agreements. That day, we left the office at 2 a.m. I prepared a brief. Then I sent the brief to the party leadership. I sent to my key people, and I called the opposition caucus meeting. Reagan was my shadow minister for foreign affairs. And we presented. And I said, these are the documents I received from the minister. The country has already committed itself. And at any rate, if we oppose it, they will use it against us to the West and say, you see these guys? So they said, you go and prepare a statement. And we'll call the press. And when we announced our support for deployment in Somalia, Ofonopono was so upset because they thought they had an instrument.
Yes.
So those examples, but there are many. In my annual statement in response to the President's State of the Nation address, I would be very brutal, but I'll stick to the facts. And I was told even after the first year, actually, when I'm doing my statement, the President would watch himself.
You called it the annual?
The State of the Nation address. And as leader of opposition, I had this official response to the statement.
Yes.
But I would give critique and I would give options. You know, they had figures, for example, on revenue. And the figures were, in my arithmetical mind, the figures were not matching up. I called the research, and they got me the things. I did the calculation. It was outrageous. If you work backwards there, for the figures that the President put in his statement, at some stage, the economy must have grown. In one year, it was like by 40%. And when I was now replying, I did not give the actual figures. I had the figures I passed to the Prime Minister. Then I read my statement and I said, these figures are not correct, but I know that the people in finance are the ones misleading the President. Later, when they sent me a thank you, said, when you sent us the figures, it was too embarrassing. And we were scared. I said, no, it would not have, because I really want the government to do the right thing. You cannot force a wrong person to do the right thing by demonizing the person. Yeah. So, and many instances, figures on UPE, I worked out the number of students. You remember the Ogola Commission on UPE arose from that. And there are many other instances. And of course, our role in ending the war in the north, when I was leader of opposition, was very instrumental. But maybe my time as leader of opposition allowed the country to accept opposition as a legitimate political entity. But of course, the difficulty in being leader of opposition is that you have a bigger profile than your party leader. And it's tough. Because I have now to bear the pressure coming from my own party and bear the pressure coming from the ruling party.
Yes.
It's more than walking a tightrope. It's tough. But by the grace of God, I walked for 5 years.
Yes.
And I'm also proud to say that I'm the only leader of opposition
that did the full 5 years.
Yes, since independence, by the way.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yes. Looking back, so you know, I was going to ask two things. What has been your proudest leadership moment, and what has been a moment that has tested your leadership? And it doesn't have to be in politics. It can be, you know, because you've led in family, you've led at university, you've led in various places.
Even now, if you go down, you'll find I've written proposal. I like to do things. I'm a doer. So I took the time I was in politics. There were no plans to even to take electricity to Agago by UEB. I'm the one who wrote the proposal. I'm the one who got the funding from Sweden. I'm the one who did the environment impact assessment during the war, when the consultants who should do so that the power line could be built could not go to the north. They said
no way.
Yes. So one day, engineer Mullen, called me. He was a consultant for the Swedish. Said, you guys, Latigo, you come. Said, you see, this project of yours would be taken away to some other place. That is what they're pressing Sweden to do. But those who were pressing didn't know that I'd been to Sweden, I'd been in meetings, I'd met the minister there, and there was no way you could remove. So I said, if it is environment impact assessment, I'll do it. Give me the name of the engineer, was in technology. I called him and I said, get me 3 students for field data collection. Get me any equipment that we need in the field to come with them, facilitate them. For me, I would fuel my vehicle, and this is part of my responsibility. Then I arranged with Brigadier Tiang, was a division commander based in Lira. They arranged military escort. And it's amazing. We come from Lira, we start the work from Konakilak, we come and we go to Pade. Now there's a river before you turn to Pade called Otaka. We passed there. When we came back from Pade, we found after us a pickup was ambushed and 6 people were killed in that ambush. And we did Beam, Kalongo. I wrote the report. So even town council, we had Kalongo, you had this fight about district headquarters. So Kalongo, which was even a town board, they removed the town board. Perez Ahabwe was my student. Now Perez was Minister of State for Local Government. So I told Perez, they've removed Kalong from. So we brought back town boards and town council. And after Kitgum, Kalong became a town council. And later Patong. Then National Water, we did the survey, Dr. Wana ATM. They all, those towns are piped water. MTN network, I told you we asked the president in a meeting. I said, you're blaming us when the LRA attack, the Koromojong attack, there's no way of, he said, call MTN. But it was a major, it was his aide de camp. Said, call MTN. Told MTN, I want a network in 2 weeks. And they did that. And so many things. Gulu University, we were the ones who wrote the document that created Gulu University. Now the clinical officers center in Ubia Island. The Dutch were very good friends of ours. They're the ones who gave us that. They also gave us money to rehabilitate Sasawat Baker. And I go there with the Minister Bitamazire. And the local NRM functionaries did not even want me to talk in the thing. The minister got up and told them, this program we are launching was brought by me and Professor. You cannot leave him out. So she's the one who picked me. I addressed the meeting, even the ribbon to build a laboratory. He said, we are going to come together. And many other things. Of course, agriculture. When I lost in 2011, I just went to the farm. And now you go to Noya. When people go there, they cannot believe the kind of mechanization that is happening there. And of course, I was chair of actually technical working committee on oil and gas. And the oil story is very clear to some of us. That one, we sort it out quietly. Yes. So my greatest moment was probably when my time, when I now lost election. I gave Kasian Wadri to act. And then I picked a day to say goodbye to Parliament. And when I made my statement, the people who contributed in debates, you had to be very strong-hearted, not to even shed tears. You know, everybody from all sides appreciating how I provided leadership to the country, and all wishing me well. And some of these wishes are part of the stories of my going through many accidents and surviving. I enjoy tremendous good with. Yes. If we walk in the streets of Kampala now, and I stop somewhere, the borders will come to it. I mean, that is, there's no bigger reward than that.
Yes. So looking at leadership now, and as we wind down this conversation, if I can call you an old man of the clan, what are your words of wisdom for leaders today?
Andrew will have a fight with me, but he knows I'm
okay. The second old man of the clan,
but he knows I'm an elder, even
yes,
Toro, so
yes,
he will not fight me. Yes.
But what are your, like you said, you have the gift of seeing ahead.
Yes.
As a person who sees ahead, what are your words of wisdom to leaders, not just political leaders, but people who wear the title leader? What are your words?
You know, I talked about the future of Ugandan politics when I wrote an article, Political Succession, Why Can't We Learn from Trees?
There's something to learn from trees.
Yes,
Wow.
and I wrote that article the week when there was NRM Delegates Conference. The conference in 2014.
You used to write in the Observer.
Yes, in the Observer.
Yes.
Yes. And that day, as I was coming back home, I saw delegates singing and going to Nambole. But I also knew that what was happening was something which is not right. I came home, I couldn't sleep. I tried to watch TV, I couldn't. So I came and sat on my desk here and just started writing because I had to get it out of me. And I wrote and wrote and wrote. When I finished, I found the weight lifted from my head. I went and slept. And then when I woke up after breakfast, I came and edited and sent. And I talked about democracy, Scandinavian democracy and the pine forest. How they are constant, there's no superior, and I talked about you go to Sweden or you find the prime ministers riding bicycles to office. You go to schools, nobody drops their children in cities to school. The kids ride bicycles to school. Theirs is like a constant. Changes you don't even notice. Changes that no change affects individuals except in bringing progress. Then I talked about the American equatorial forest. And then I talked about the flat-topped acacia tree and the African strongmen and dictators. They're so dominating that even their own cannot grow under that tree. When we were kids, you'd go for shelter, and during the day, in the small spores, you can even see stars. So I said they are enticing, but the human side is that succession is not allowed. And I said when that tree is struck by lightning or blown down by wind, what remains below is an ecological vacuum. And those who will occupy will be primary colonizers, opportunists, etc. And there will be chaos until a stable succession is attained. And I talked, in fact, I ended that year. This guy of Kampuhore, is it, of Burkina Faso, had just been overthrown. And I asked, who knew that that coup would happen? Because I said the problem with that system is that it is like weighing sugar in the dark. You have a 5 kilogram stone, you're scooping sugar, but you cannot know that the sugar is now enough. The next thing, it will be a very small grain that will tilt the scale. And I warned. The President Museveni went to the last funeral rites of the father of Akulu, the lady for CID, in Dokolo. And in that, he said something. He said, even if I died today, nothing will happen to my government. He was not speaking to the crowd. He was telling me that I read your article. Because Dokolo is near enough to our place. And I've written many articles. And that also caused me problems. Sometimes people think I'm in some secret alliance with the president. But it's just because he knows I speak the truth. In every opportunity I have, I don't want to speak about opposition or NRM, I speak to President Museveni. Because the answer to the future of this country is in his hands. He should not delude himself. The biggest rulers of the world, their time always has come. And for all the things he has done for this country, he must bear in mind the fact that there will be a Uganda after President Museveni. And whether it's going to be a good Uganda or a chaotic Uganda depends on how he allows the country to move from him to the next leaders. And that's the biggest. Sometimes it worries me, but because I know that that is a reality, I don't have to waste my time worrying about it. I will speak about it, I will counsel people about it, but it doesn't worry me personally. Because I'm a 72-year-old young man like me. There's a lot of future in our lives. So,
wow, thank you so much. And I think for me, as we close this, it's to pick that very wisdom. And for me, it applies to any leader who might think they are indispensable. I mean, I say that even looking at what it is, that our time will come and good or chaos are choices in our hand. And so literally it's up to us to choose, but also that we can learn from trees, the pine forest, the equatorial forest, the flat-topped acacia tree. Those are examples that nature is giving you of possibilities.
Yes, yes.
We don't even have to go too far. And again, choice. The choice is in our hands. So how will you choose? And I think that's a question that we leave as we leave this conversation. And thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
For your energy, for your passion, for your service to the country. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And for our listeners, thank you so much for listening to us. As we say, ours is to bring you the wisdom of the elders. What you choose to do with that wisdom is absolutely on you. But thank you so much for tuning in, and we can't wait to bring you another guest on Footprints.